Today I want to share how Celtic spirituality lives in my everyday life, not in big ceremonies, but just in small moments close to home. These are simple daily acts that are my natural anchors. They're small, simple, and yet deeply felt. This is just my personal relationship with the land. Outside my door are various trees, but I'm particularly drawn to a very long row of pine trees. Even in the lightest of winds, they make the most beautiful sound. And when the wind is howling from the tops of the hills all the way down to my home, it makes the pine trees sing. And I like to wonder what it is that they're actually saying. I have a deep interest in the Celtic ogham, and I explore this in my own quiet way. I've always felt that trees have much to teach us and share. It's just that we've forgotten how to listen. We are surrounded by many different birds here, which I'm very thankful for, and I enjoy watching them, feeding them, and listening to their calls. I notice which birds have routines they like to follow. You'll see them at certain times in certain places every day. I love to notice the birds of prey over the fields when they're cutting the grass or muck spreading. When I stop, watch and listen, it feels like a form of presence. For a few moments I can clear my mind, steady myself and let go of what is no longer required of me, even if it's just for a few seconds. Their meanings are another layer of depth for me, but again, noticing is my first simple practice. I'm always watching the weather, the clouds moving across the land, the smell of the rain in the air, or sometimes just a shaft of light that's coming through a particular spot in the trees. I've always felt that the weather is an intricate part of our understanding of the land's language. I sometimes feel like if the land is the body, then the weather is its voice or mood. Standing in a shaft of sunlight and letting that flow into my heart recharges me. If it's particularly windy, I enjoy letting my hair down and letting it move. That's particularly fun to do on a coastal path. The rain can be a great cleanser for the soul when spirits are down. The moods can change quickly and easily too, which is reflective of my own mercurial nature, but at a deeper level, it's reflective of our ever-changing lives. Being in alignment with the seasons is important to me. I like to notice the subtle shifts of each season. At the moment, as we've just moved past Imbolc, there's a gentle stirring in the land. Snowdrops, daffodils and soon crocus will be blessing the land and giving us all hope after a long, dark winter. There are daffodils growing outside my house, and I like to look at them every day to see how they're coming along. And in fact, yesterday, the first one opened, and it was such a joyous moment. For me, the land is always speaking. My practice is mostly about listening. When I choose to make a connection with nature, it can be very simple, but it will hold a lot of depth for my spirituality. For me, placing a palm on a tree or leaning against it can help me to really slow down and take a breath. This can be very helpful when I'm overstimulated or when I just need a moment to gather myself. A tree grows so slowly, no one can see it, but its roots can spread far and wide. For me, it's a mirror of my own spirituality. I also like to make offerings underneath the trees, just a small gesture of gratitude to the land around me. Binding small sticks or flowers together with twine, or even just placing a stone at the base of a tree can feel really special. I like to use my breath to blow in my thanks to the object that I'm about to offer. When I have a spare moment in the mornings, I like to take my coffee or cacao outside, and I'm lucky enough to have views of the fields and hills all around me. I like to watch the clouds rolling by and see what birds are around, and I'll sip my drink slowly and with intention. I often speak or think about what I'd like the day or even the week to look like for me. For example, I might say, I'd like to navigate today with joy in whatever it is that I'd like to do. It really sets me up for the day or the week, and also it just calms my nervous system. I like to sing when I'm outside. There's a country lane just outside, which even though is a bit of a tractor run, I do like to walk, usually with my toddler on my back. And as we walk, I sing. I make up stories about the weather, Mother Earth, the trees. It always feels really joyous and freeing to sing outside. Whilst listening to the song of the land being sung, I can also be heard singing my song to it. At first, I used to only sing in private, but voices like to be heard, especially by nature, and it feels reciprocal. These are just some small ways that I like to connect. Sometimes ceremony has its place in my practices and it is needed. It can mark something really important. It can hold witness to rituals and emotions, and it can be deeply, deeply cathartic. But for me, everyday practices are equally as important. I love to hold sacred fires to mark full or new moons. They can be big, exciting, dramatic, sometimes small or simple. On other days, I find that just looking at the moon or tracking its movement from one side of my house to the other can be just as nourishing. I like to absorb the moon's light, just as I do the sun's, and I can feel as divinely connected as when I do fires. The pagan wheel of the year has recently passed in bulk, and there are many ways it can be celebrated. I love variety, so I always keep note of how I've celebrated the previous year. This year my celebrations were very simple. I lit a candle in the windowsill to honour Bridget, and I also left out a bowl of ice, and as it melted overnight, I drank that water in the morning. It felt like a nice reminder of the gentle thawing of the season. It's not yet time to rush ahead with growth, but it's enough to watch the sowed seeds begin to awaken. Ceremony has its place, but presence can be enough. Celtic spirituality for me isn't separate from daily life. It lives in the noticing, in the small gestures, in relationship with the land. It's close, it's already here, and it's available in small ways every day.